Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and it's time for another What's Spinning. This time I'm going to show you actually the stuff that's been spinning for the last probably week and a half to 2 weeks in my car. I grabbed all this stuff out of my car. This is the stuff that I've been listening to. Actually, one of these is from a couple months ago, but it's also one I wanted to show. So let's just kind of jump into it. First up, we're listening to Elf in the background. Elf was Ronnie James Dio's band back in the early 70s. Most of the guys from Elf ended up becoming Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. Really killer stuff. This is the only Elf that I have right now. I think they have 2 or 3 other albums. I know there's some live stuff, and very cool though. I just found out about Elf probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I can't get enough of this album. It's just really killer. And now on to the stuff that we've been listening to in the car. This is one I picked up a couple days ago. I really like special editions, and I grab them whenever I can. And I ran across this for like $7, and I grabbed it. This is Remission from Mastodon. This is the deluxe edition that comes with the DVD. So I got into Mastodon really late. You can see in the background right there, I have Once More Around the Sun on the wall, and that one's signed. I got into them, the album before that. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. It's got like the deer on the front cover. And they're both kind of, they're both really proggy, prog metal albums. So that's kind of what I was expecting from the earlier stuff. And that's not what this is. And honestly, I really didn't dig this that much. I've seen mixed reviews about this. People either seem to really like it or really dislike it. I thought it was okay. It didn't really... I didn't want to listen to it again after giving it a spin. So if anybody out there is interested in this, let me know. Maybe we can make a trade or something. Next up, I love this band, and this album, I don't know how I missed this one when it came out. You know, I've talked about, I really like tribute albums. I really like when bands do cover albums, and this is a band that really did a good job covering or doing their tribute. This is Tribute to the Gods from Iced Earth. This is basically all of the bands that inspired them, all the music that inspired them, and you've got them doing Creatures of the Night, Number of the Beast, Highway to Hell, Burning for You, God of Thunder. I love God of Thunder. Screaming for Vengeance, Dead Babies, Cities in Flames, It's a Long Way to the Top, and their version of Black Sabbath is killer. They just do such a good job on every single song here. This is one I highly recommend picking up if you run across a copy of it. Next up, this is one I had never seen before. I ran across it a couple days for $2, and I grabbed it. It's Belted, Buckled, and Booted, an EP from Faster Pussycat. And this has Nonstop to Nowhere. It's got a song called Too Tight, which is this is the only place it's available. And then their cover of You're So Vain, which is obviously a Carly Simon song. All 3 songs really good on here, though. If you like Faster Pussycat, you'll definitely like this EP. This one was really cool. I didn't even know that this CD existed, and when I ran across it, I think I paid $3 for it. I couldn't grab it fast enough. This is The Roots of Guns N' Roses, and this is Hollywood Rose. Just a really killer album. So it's got the original Hollywood Rose demo, and this is of course the I don't think Tracy Guns was on this. I think, if I remember correctly, this was Axl Rose's band, And then he hooked up with Tracy Gunn, and that's where they come up with the idea for Guns N' Roses. And then, of course, Tracy Gunn was gone before that came out. But I know Tracy Gunn was involved in this in some way, so maybe he came in later. I don't know exactly what the deal is. But you've got the original, the original demo is on here, which is Killing Time, Anything Goes, Rocker, Shadow of Your Love, and Reckless Life. And I think most of this stuff has been released here and there over the years. I know that there were demo or bootlegs of this all over the place back in the 90s. And then all of the songs are remixed by Gilby Clarke, and then there's a third remix of all the songs by Fred Curry. Really cool CD. I guess it's pretty short. It gets into the story inside the booklet too. I haven't actually sat down and read through it, but definitely a cool listen. I've given this a couple spins. If you run across this, grab it. This is one I just kind of happened across. I didn't know that this existed. I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan, especially their 70s output. Once they get into the 80s, they kind of lose me. But this is a Allman Brothers live at the Atlanta International Pop Festival on, let's see, July 3rd and July 5th, 1970. So they played 2 days at this festival. And the sets, while there's a couple songs that they did each day, for the most part, the sets are completely different. And then they do, the very last song on the last day is a 30-minute mountain jam that just kicks ass. But if you like Southern rock or the Allman Brothers, you definitely need to get this one. I really, really dig this. And this has gotten quite a few spins. This is another band I just recently got into. They've been around since the 90s. I had heard of the band. I just don't think I ever really knew what they were. I always just thought they were kind of a modern alternative band, which a lot of the modern alternative stuff. I like 90s alternative. But once you get past that, I'm not really much for a lot of the newer alternative music. But it's actually, I later found out, just a few years ago, that they were a progressive rock band, progressive metal a lot of the time. And now that I'm into them, I'm buying everything I can. But this is Porcupine Tree, Signify. And again, this is a deluxe edition. CD2 is their demos from 95 and 96. So a lot of the demos from this album are on disc too. Man, they just do such a good job. Their packaging, their artwork is always amazing. I love that album cover. I really want to get some Porcupine Tree on vinyl. I don't have any right now. Next up, actually, is another one of those bands that's immensely important in music that most people have never heard of, or if they've heard of them, they've never heard them. This is a band I've always been familiar with. I just give me a second. This is one of those bands I've always been familiar with. I've just never had any of their music, so I ran across this and grabbed it. This is Green River. This is Dry as a Bone and Rehab Doll. If you're not familiar with Green River is basically where grunge came from. There was one other band, maybe two other bands that were out at about the same time as them. I think Melvins came out right around the same time, but I don't think they put anything out until after Green River. And there was one other band too that I can't think of the name of that put out an album shortly after these guys too. But these guys really were the first grunge band, and I think this band is where the term grunge got coined. Definitely an influential band to guys like Soundgarden, and guys like Kurt Cobain, talked about them pretty heavily. But more so in what this band turned into. Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard from this band went on to join with is it Andrew Wood, I think, and they became Mother Love Bone, who right after Andrew Wood died became, they did the Temple of the Dog project, and then right after that Pearl Jam came together, and of course Pearl Jam is just a huge band today. One or two of the members from this also went on to become Mudhoney. So two of the bigger bands from the Seattle scene, both of which are still around right now. And this is really good. To me, it's more of a garage punk sound than what any of the other bands would be. And that's one of the things that I never got about the whole grunge. The music from that area being coined grunge, because none of them sounded alike. They all had a completely different sound. But this is their, let's see, this is their first two albums. Or, I'm sorry, they put out an EP first. So this is, does it say? Regardless, this is Dry as a Bone was their I think their first full length, and Rehab Doll was their second. And then they kind of split up after that. But still, killer album. This next one, man, this one blew me away. So I've talked about King Diamond before. For years, I avoided King Diamond. I had a roommate when I first went in the Navy that was a hardcore King Diamond fan. That's all he listened to was King Diamond and Merciful Fate. And King Diamond's voice just drove me crazy. I couldn't get into those operatic highs. It just gave me a migraine back then. And I just recently got into him, maybe a year and a half ago. I picked up Abigail and on vinyl, and I loved it. About a year ago, I picked up Them, which I also liked. It's the original pressing on CD though, and it doesn't sound that good, so I need to get that one on vinyl. So this is the third King Diamond album I've heard. I haven't heard any of his other stuff. I've heard some of the Merciful Fate stuff, but none of his other solo albums. And as I find them, I grab them. Whether it's on vinyl or CD, I always pick them up. Always. All three times I've run into one, I've picked it up. And this one, even though it seems to get mediocre reviews, this is by far my favorite. I love this album. This is The Eye. It's definitely the heaviest of the three albums, and I really like his vocals on this one. Just beginning to end, and I've been listening to this non-stop. I think I've listened to this 5 or 6 times in the car. This is what's been in my car for the last 4 days probably. This is all I've listened to until today when I started listening to some King's X. But I'll talk about that in another video. But killer album. I'm definitely going to be buying this one on vinyl now. And last but not least, I was completely amazed to run across this in a UCD store. I just don't see this band anywhere. The two albums from them that I do have, I had to buy online. But this is a favorite of mine. This is Extol and their album Synergy. Killer artwork too. I don't know if you can see that. Death seesaw with a monk. So Extol started off as a black metal band. They're one of the Norwegian black metal bands. However, they're a Christian black metal band, and they were part of that same scene with Mayhem and Burzum and all of these hardcore satanic black metal bands, a couple of which were rumored at the time to be burning churches and murder, suicide, all kind of crazy stuff going on in that scene. And you got this Christian band playing the same type of music in that same environment. I mean, it's insane that area put out two polar opposites basically doing the same thing. Killer band though. And this was a really cool album in that this is where you start to see a change. They went from straight black metal, and then with this album you start to hear this is almost a thrash album. Definitely very technical. I would call it technical thrash. You still hear a little bit of the black metal vocals on a couple of the songs, but then on a couple of the songs it's more of the thrash vocal. And then on their last couple albums, they've become progressive metal. And their last album, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head, but in 2013, my album of the year. Amazing, amazing album. If you find anything by Extol, any of their albums, every one of them is just on point. Highly recommend picking them up. That's it, VC. I hope you liked it. Again, this is just stuff that's been spinning in my car in the last couple of weeks. I'll have a couple more vinyl updates coming pretty soon. I'll be doing a non-metal one, and then I'll be doing a punk update. I haven't done a punk update in a couple of years. It's probably been a good year and a half since I did one. I don't buy a whole lot of punk anymore, but when I run across certain stuff, I grab it. And over the last 7 or 8 months, I picked up a little stack, so I'll do a video going over that stuff as well. So that's it, VC. I hope everything's good. Take care.